Right now is 8:51. That was a piece from the Rising broadcast, the morning broadcast, and the report was out of Scranton, and our own Larry Sparano lives in the Scranton area. And hey, what do you think?
That's right outside of Scranton, and a very interesting report. I thought the analysis was pretty good to a point. However, I have to wonder whether the reporter, when he came to Scranton, looked around at all the street signs, and they are heavily for Trump right outside of Scranton, all the surrounding areas outside of Scranton. Now, this pretty much follows a pattern that emerged in 2016. Now, Scranton, you remember, it's heavily Democratic and heavily unionized. And I think the union factors in Scranton, factions in Scranton, are what brought the vote out for Hillary. But the surrounding areas were going for Trump, and these signs are all over the place now. So it's hard to read which way this is going to go. Don't forget, Trump won Pennsylvania narrowly with the suburban vote outside of the cities, Scranton, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm wondering, it seems to me, at least from the street sign reading, that the same pattern is emerging again. So it's too
Get a
soon to
sense,
say.
you get a sense of kind of chaos, fatigue, or actually blaming Trump now for the coronavirus. What's your sense of
You
that?
see, that again, as we've discussed before, that's hard to read because people are sick of the virus, the shutdown. But in Pennsylvania, a lot of people are very angry with Governor Wolf for his inconsistent application of the shutdown with various businesses, various events, and all that. So there's anger
Yeah.
towards the Democratic Governor Wolf, and so that seems to be modifying the anger towards Trump and the blame towards Trump. So again, as I said before, this is hard to read this time.
What is
2016. Go
what
ahead.
has Trump? What has Wolf done basically?
Well,
How has he
he's
been?
been inconsistent in what's going to be shut down, what has to then be reopened and shut down again, and a lot of people are just sick of it, and they're really blaming Wolf for a misapplication, similar to the way Cuomo is being blamed for some of this inconsistency in New York. So when you look at the big picture, I'm not sure whether Trump is really being blamed that much. Now, there was a good quote there from Kellyanne Conway that people vote according to not what offends them, but what affects them. And I think, again, as I've said, there's a growing backlash with people among the working class seeing this rioting that they're blaming on the Democratic controlled cities that are just stepping down, defunding police and all that. And they're also blaming the Democrats for the chaos rather than blame it on Trump. Again, I live in a area that's conservative Democrat, Scranton, outside of Scranton. So that may not be, that apply to the entire country. But from what that reporter analyzed, I don't think it's as clean cut, especially when you're looking at all this proliferation of signs. Very few for Biden outside of Scranton, a lot for Trump. So what is it? And don't forget too, the enthusiasm gap there. More people are
Right.
more enthusiastic for Trump than they are Biden. Don't forget, Biden grew up in Scranton. That's his hometown. And yet, even here, the support is kind of lukewarm. That people who are dissatisfied with Trump are reluctantly going for Biden. So what does that tell you?
Let me ask you this, though. I mean, one of the interesting things in that report was that he said that Biden really doesn't need the white working class. I mean, given the other coalition folks that he've gotten together, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a good point. And in fact, that's what Biden is betting on. The coalition of political identity groups, of special interests of minorities. I think that's enough to bring him over. And it could be. It could be. But the separate question
Yeah.
is whether he's really being abandoned by the working class. And I think that's unclear at this point.
Right. All right, sir. We'll talk tomorrow. Thank you,
All
and
right, Tim.
stay safe in Scranton.
Hey, I'm in a safe area here in Scranton. Everybody is, ready to defend against whatever. So, yeah, we'll see you
Cheers.
tomorrow. All right.